Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. Today we're going to touch base on the top 5 Chanel perfumes for the month of February. 'Tis the year 2025. I've prompted my AI bubbles to generate this gorgeous frosted Chanel-esque landscape. We're kind of lost in the woods. We are trying to find our way towards optimism and light. Let's just put it mildly that way. This year begins the way it did, and let's try to survive with perfumes. Now, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Get access to extra perks on my channel. You can also follow me on Patreon, superdacob, all spelled together there as well for extra perks. Push the notification bell. And everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. The first perfume in this gorgeous, a little bit scary, but gorgeous landscape almost reminds me a bit of a frozen version of the bayou in The Never-Ending Story, IYKYK. First perfume, let's blend it in. Now you see how Platinum Egoiste, which was released in the 90s after the first Egoiste, didn't do very well in the American market. Egoiste did well in the European market, but in America, that sandalwoody warm accord was not very popular in the male-dominated fragrance world because this one was catered, both the first Egoiste as well as Platinum, to men. Matter of fact, in the beginning, I think it even had for men, like on the box. But so that sandalwoody, warm, cinnamony, spicy accord, it was just too groundbreaking for the early 90s for male perfumery, which by that time was all about Drakkar Noir, if you know what I mean. So here we are at Chanel's attempt at revamping Egoiste. And in fact, just a couple of years after Egoiste was released, the flanker Egoiste Platinum comes out, or Platinum Egoiste comes out. In fact, originally it was Egoiste Platinum, now it's Platinum Egoiste. Interesting, right? But anyway, it's a fougere perfume. This one is lavender heavy, not sandalwood heavy at all as Egoiste. Egoiste is a predecessor to Bois Noir, which is the predecessor of Bois des Îles. So Chanel has done a lot. You can check out my review of Egoiste if you want to know the history of it. But let's stick to this one. The fougere lavender icy accord with its bubbly, icy, sparkling aldehydes in the opening is the reason why this perfume is perfect for this year, February. It's such an abstraction of a fragrance, I believe, for Chanel standards at least. That lavender fougere spiciness just kind of makes this one an oddball. It was gorgeous in the 90s. They used to have a soap, which I used to own. They had a soap. They had a whole, body and bath range. They discontinued everything. Now you can only get the eau de toilette and maybe no, I don't even know. They used to have a deodorant. You can't even get the deodorant anymore. Maybe an aftershave balm, but that's it at this point. So they have really, Chanel has kind of reduced it to the bare minimum bone. Also Egoiste as well. But Platinum has that platinum colored, silver colored lid. And then you have the juice in this tone. Beautiful formulation in the 90s. At least it was to me. Then it went through a couple of reformulations that I did not like at all. It became very metallic and screechy to my nose. Now they have reformulated in the past few years, and it is more acceptable and pleasant to me again, but I'm not really a repurchaser of Platinum. Well, that much at least. I do have it in my collection, but it's like I haven't used it in a while. And then this year, poof, it's just like that. I'm looking for something new. I'm looking for something different. I'm looking for weird, I don't know, an approach to hope in a way, or I'm looking for the oddballs, at least for me, oddballs, because I don't use this one so much, right? I'm looking for those type of smells from time to time just to, um, as paradox as it may sound, I do that. I think I do that to just avoid the present state of the situation in the world. So I'm like, I'm smelling a perfume from Chanel that I don't usually wear, and I'm wearing it now quite a bit because I want to smell something that I don't usually smell. And I think I do that in part also because I don't want to attribute to these hard times specific perfumes that I really love a lot from Chanel. So this one is not one of my favorites. So using it in this time, it feels like, yeah, I can add tension and I can add anxiety as emotions to this one because I don't use it a lot. So it's a little bit of a psychological trick that I do from time to time, you know. Sometimes, and I've said this in other videos of mine. I use, you know, I use perfumes that I wear sometimes perfumes that are not necessarily my favorites, and I do that as a maybe a challenge to myself, but also I would wear them in situations where I don't feel very comfortable, so that that feeling of discomfort doesn't attach itself to the memory of a perfume that I love very much. So this one is actually very practical. Conceptually speaking, me using Platinum Egoiste is very practical right now for me in this year, in this month, because it serves as a protection shield. Like it protects my other perfumes that I love very much, and it protects them from me attaching anxiety to them as an emotion. So thank you, Chanel, for having these oddballs as well from time to time that really help me in times of difficulty. Because, I mean, I respect this perfume. You know, it's a solid perfume, and a lot of guys in particular love it. You know, for me, perfume knows no gender, so we'll go. But um, I know quite a few ladies that love this one and wear it, so it's not just catered for to men. But as a male perfume, this one really works. No matter who it is that's wearing it, it really works on a level of shielding. And it's interesting that it's called also platinum. It has that whole vibe of like a big metal shield that you would be wearing to get through the world. That lavender, metallic lavender accord, it definitely suits winter vibes very well. It's a frosty type of smell. It's a cold type of smell, almost emotionless in its nature. Platinum Egoiste. Very, very, very particular technical type of perfume. So, and I rarely have it in my lists. Rarely. So this is like a very, very, very special, momentous occasion to have a Platinum Egoiste in my top 5. And if I do manage to find it on the YouTube shopping lists links, I shall post it in my shopping links. So if you do use those, they are like affiliate links. You don't pay more for the product, but a part of the sales, like a commish, goes to me. So that does help the channel out. So thank you guys so much. If I do find a link to it, because truth be told, whenever I look for this one, the more time passes and the less I find it online, really. So I'm not so sure I'll even be able to find a link because, it's not the most popular of Chanel perfumes. But it suits its purpose, and I think it suits its purpose very well this year in February. My number 2, as you're thumbing up this video and subscribing, thank you so much for thumbing up and for subscribing. Let's check out number 2. So each and every iteration of Coco Mademoiselle is fine for February. It's the opposite of Platinum Egoiste because this one is warm. It has a coolness to it as well, so it's not just warm, but it's the patchouli in this one, and that sweetness, that fruit compote or the fruit potpourri mixed with the patchouli created the genre back in the early 2000s called the sweet chuli fragrances. And I mean, Coco Mademoiselle, when it was first launched, really defined the Y2K era. And I say this usually, when I talk about Coco Mademoiselle, I say, the vision of Coco Mademoiselle is Paris Hilton with her frameless Chanel pink lens sunglasses, the Juicy Couture velvet pink outfit with the golden Juicy Couture stitched onto the outfit, and her Louis Vuitton Cherries Keepall 45 from the Takashi Murakami collection, walking around with her blonde bleached hair with extensions and her little poodle or whatever dog she had back then. Like, that's the era. That's the Y2K era, and that is Coco Mademoiselle. Now here, is a Chanel photo, really beautiful, a lot of different iterations of it. We have Coco Mademoiselle Eau de Parfum. We have the hair mist, or the, what do they call it? Hair perfume. Coco Mademoiselle Eau Privée, which is a very light version of Coco Mademoiselle. It was supposed to be a limited edition, but it's still in production, apparently quite popular. They advertise that it's sprayed on your bed sheets before you go to bed. It's like just soothing and comforting before you go to sleep. But you can also wear it during the day. It's kind of like a lighter version of Coco Mademoiselle, even lighter than the Eau de Toilette. The Eau de Toilette is not listed here, but the Eau de Toilette is still in production. And then we have the Eau de Parfum Intense, which is really, really beautiful. I bought this back in the day. It came out, I think, in 2018, and I did a whole live stream review on my main channel about this one. Interesting one. It has a salmony fishy accord in it. Well, the first iteration did, and that's the overdose of patchouli that's in here. But I love it to bits. And then my favorite iteration of it, also not listed here, is the Extrait, or the Parfum, in the spray form, 7.5 mil. Unfortunately, no longer in production. Chanel kind of discontinues all their best items, and here we have that 7.5 mil vial, still a little bit of juice left, and then it's over. I do have one more bottle of this, and then it's game over for the spray version of Coco Mademoiselle. I adore Coco Mademoiselle, and I say this, I did not like this perfume in the past. You can see how the background matches all my choices. Nothing is done without intention. Everything is holistic and done on purpose. So look at that sun in the background. It's like we see the sun, but it's not really there. You know, there's like hope at the end of this tunnel, but it's a frosted reality we're living in at the moment. But hopefully it's going to change. But anyway, so Coco Mademoiselle was very much the Y2K perfume, but Chanel kept, selling it, and it's a bestseller. Sometimes Coco Mademoiselle would outsell Chanel No. 5. Chanel No. 5 being considered one of the best-selling perfumes of the world. So you can imagine how popular this perfume is, or was, and still is for Chanel. So to the point where they kept making and making and making it, to me it always smelled very much of that era, the Y2K era. Until a couple of years ago, something just switched for me, and this one started smelling timeless. And that's just a testament to not just Chanel, but it's like a proof. If you stick with something long enough, if you give something the time to really develop its audience, its connections to its audience, then you will get to the point where a perfume will transcend time and it will become timeless. And I can tell you by now, Coco Mademoiselle, in my humble opinion, has earned its rightful place in the Olympus of Chanel timeless perfumes, just like Chanel No. 5 has. It is that timeless to me. Now I no longer associate it to the Y2K era, but now I associate it with a timeless Chanel elegance, slight sluttiness as well. I mean, a lot of people say that this is the perfume of the mistresses, the perfume of the hookahs, so there's like a certain danger still associated to this perfume, in a good way, of course. In my humble opinion, at least in a good way, not in a bad way. So associated to, the hookeration of it all, not in a bad way whatsoever. I don't judge that at all. So this is a gorgeous one for this winter that is taking us, pardon me, that is taking us towards hopefully light and sunshine in the future. And yes, if you really, really sniff on it, it does hold those memories of the past, right? Better times, hopeful times. There's something so playful and youthful about Coco Mademoiselle. In fact, Coco Mademoiselle was first conceived as a flanker to Coco. Coco is a very mature perfume released in the 80s by Jacques Polge. This is also a Jacques Polge perfume, by the way. Except Intense and Eau Privée are iterations / flankers done by Olivier Polge, Jacques' son. Oh, the nepotism of it all. So Coco, released in the 80s, very mature, Byzantine type of fragrance, amber, heavy fragrance, shoulder pads, 80s, gold plated, everything type of fragrance, right? That's in the late 80s. And then in the early 2000s, we get the Mademoiselle version, so the young, youthful Coco, which is very different from the original. And even though a flanker, just because it bears Coco in its name and it has the same bottle design as the original Coco, still, it's its own perfume, and it has actually withstood the test of time much better than Coco, although Coco is, for me, another one of those timeless Chanel perfumes that just also transcends time, but it is a more mature fragrance. It's a more, heavy perfume. This is more lighthearted, fun, playful, flirtatious, youthful, a little bit mischievous as well. So it's a beauty. So and Chanel, if you're looking, bring the spray version back and stop upping your prices so greedily. Number 3, as you're thumbing up the video. Oh, by the way, if I find a shopping link to any of the Coco Mademoiselle perfumes, I will be posting it in the YouTube shopping links down below, or here on the side, they will pop up. So be sure to check them out, because there's so many different iterations of Coco, and you might find just the one you like the most. There's also like a body mist, there's a body oil, there's a body cream, there's eau de toilette as well. And the extrait, even though they don't make the spray anymore, they still do make the splash version, the 7.5 mil and the 15 mil. Probably one of the two still in production. Definitely worth trying it out. My number 3, up here magically, is a limited edition of Allure Homme Sport Superleggera, done with the Carrozzeria Superleggera Italian brand that does machines for cars, also watches. Chanel has collaborated with Superleggera for their watches, but also they've done this collaboration, this perfume, Allure Homme Sport Superleggera, dedicated to their collaboration with Superleggera. I do have one bottle here. It is sold out on the Chanel website. I thought, because they said it's a limited edition, it's a one-off, I thought, oh, okay. But how many did they make? Is it just a super limited edition? At first, I thought they were just going to give it out to a couple of their watch customers that purchased the Chanel Superleggera watches. They probably did that as well. But I didn't expect it to go really on sale, and it did. So currently, on the Chanel website, it is sold out. Look at that little double C hiding inside of the lid. And of course, it's there when I when I move the lid, but when I there, oh my God, this is so annoying when it does this. There it is. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Then you got the red, the black, the silver, quite a substantial heavy lid. Then you got that kind of grayish accord of the bottle, the red and the black, and then the slightly um metallic finish, black, silvery black finish, I want to say, for the sprayer. And the Superleggera is elevated. You can see it's a kind of a 3D rendition of the text. It's not just like a printed red logo of Superleggera on the bottle, but it is indeed. The bottle with the Superleggera was designed and molded this way. So it is a really special limited edition. And I thought, since quite a few people liked it, it is a patchouli heavy fragrance. I thought, oh, great. They're going to, rumors had it that they were going to turn it into an all year round fragrance, no longer limited edition. But no, I was wrong. It's gone. On the Chanel website, at least it's gone. If I do find a link to this one on Macy's or Bloomingdale's or something like that, I will be posting it in the shopping links down below, because it is really good. Now, it's not to everyone's liking, though, because Allure Homme, as you know, so after Chanel released Allure in the mid-90s, the female version of it, a couple of years later, they also followed up with the male version of Allure, which was Allure Homme, still in production. Allure Homme was very popular, still to this day, love it to bits, but Allure Homme then kind of generated a plethora of flankers like no other Chanel perfume did. Interesting how how Bleu de Chanel has no flankers whatsoever, even though it's been, my gosh, 15 years now. It's been released in 2010, 15 years ago. It spawned no flankers, but Allure Homme spawned a gazillion flankers. Like, we have Allure Homme Sport, Allure Homme Edition Blanche, Allure Homme Cologne, Allure Homme the Sport Extreme. I mean, there's so many of them, and now there's this one, which is the limited edition version with an overdose of patchouli. It's a very aquatic scent in the opening, your classic cliche male fragrance, very aquatic, very mineral smelling, a little bit salty, oceany vibes, and then it goes into that patchouli as it dries down. Why do I like it for the month of February in particular? Because of that weird, cold, mineral opening, like a cliche male fragrance from the past 15 years that we've known, very acqua di Gio in a way from Giorgio Armani, but then it goes into this kind of what you see also here in my background. These woods, they are frozen and frosted, and yet there's a darkness to them at the roots, at the core. They are still alive, and there's something is about to burst from within them, and that is the patchouli. The patchouli is a representation of that emotion and that sensation. Also a perfume that perfectly fits into this landscape, into this cryptic type of landscape. And I gotta tell you, I have to be in a very particular mood to enjoy Allure Homme Sport Superleggera. And because I knew it was a limited edition, even though I thought it might not really be at the end of the day, I did buy 2 bottles. I have a backup just in case, because I don't like discontinuations of perfumes, right? And I want to have that peace of mind that I have, even though I might never use it up because I have other Chanel perfumes I use much more. But I always like to have that peace of mind knowing, okay, I have one stored for just in case. Crazy as it may sound. Plus, this bottle I think is really cool with the elevated text. Also very rare. This is the first time in history that we have a Chanel font and logo connected with a completely different font. And this is Superleggera's brand font. That's their own branding, right? So for them to combine 2 different brandings and also to do a collaboration for perfumes never happened before. So this is a first. I do have a dedicated review to this one on my channel, so go check it out if you want to know all the details also about what Superleggera stands for and what have you, and how this perfume smells like in every single detail. But what is so fascinating is that this does mark a first for Chanel. So historically speaking, this bottle, the design of this bottle, whether or not there's a perfume inside of it or not, is really important to me as a collector, because it does mark the first collaboration that Chanel ever did with perfumes, And by that, I mean a collaboration between 2 different brands and generating a whole new smell, a whole new fragrance. I'm not talking about the 90s collaboration that they did with the Andy Warhol Foundation when they utilized Andy Warhol posters of the Chanel No. 5 bottle to decorate the packages and the boxes of their eau de parfum, eau de toilette maybe even, I don't think so though, and the extrait as well. However, they did not generate reformulations of said perfumes. They just kind of gave those fragrances a new cardboard box design and sleeve of the cardboard boxes. They did not redesign the actual bottles or the fragrance. This, however, is the first time that a fragrance is redesigned because it's a brand new fragrance. The bottle is reconceived with this new logo, and it's the first time that it's a collaboration of this sorts with the added logo of the other brand. Plus, that added logo is, it's elevated. It's like Chanel really, they printed their own logo, but they created an elevation for Superleggera's logo. So they really emphasize the respect towards this brand, which is kind of cool. Not many brands do this. So just for that reason alone, this is a really nice one to have in your collection. So cool, calm, aquatic mineral collected, and then that dry down is that warm patchouli. So this one definitely worth trying out. If I do find a link, I'll post it in the shopping links. And it's another one of those similar to Platinum Egoiste that kind of I use as a shield to not attach too many anxiety emotions to it, And I don't attach too many anxiety emotions to Coco Mademoiselle because this one I've used it through thick and thin for decades, so that it's become immune to particular emotions attached to it because I've lived so much through my life with it already. My number 4, thumb up the video, by the way, and subscribe while you're at it. Thank you guys so much. And start thinking about what your favorite Chanel fragrances are for the month of February and let me know down below. Number 4, check it out. Oh my gosh. And here's another one that, yes, it's a unisex because the Les Eaux range by Chanel is dedicated to all genders. However, this one is a little bit more masculine. It does lean a little bit masculine to me, you know? Paris-edimbourg. Now, here's the thing about this one because interesting. So, what do we got here? Cypress, juniper berries, again, lavender, so it does have that fougere accord in it. Cedarwood, vetiver, musk, and vanilla. This one is because of the cypress accord. The cypress in here is what makes this one very bizarre in many ways. It has this is how the future of Chanel smells like to me, of Chanel perfumes. It is very, very different from anything else from Chanel, and yet there's something so classic about it. This is a very modern, futuristic type of barbershop perfume, in my humble opinion. And it smells of petrichor to me. Now, I have reviewed this one as well, so go check out that review on my channel. A very long, dedicated, in-depth review of its smell, and in particular of the notion and concept of petrichor. Petrichor is the smell of, well, after it rains in nature, usually in summer, and all of the soil gets wet, the bacteria in it kind of evaporate in a way and come back to life. And that smell of the decomposing bacteria actually is what smells a little bit sweet and sickly, but it's a beautiful smell. It's not a bad smell. And there's a smidge of petrichor in Paris-edimbourg, but more details on that in the review of this one. This one, I think I can find a shopping link to, which I will be posting here. So be sure to get yourself a bottle of this one because this one, conceptually speaking, is just so special and so unique. Also, perfect for February because of memory, a memory of something that we have not personally lived, but it soothes us because it's a part of history and we get to learn about it, and we have that reassurance that we have control over it because we read it from beginning to end. We know how the story begins, we know how the story ends, so there's no open end, there's no like uncertainty for the future, like our lives currently are very uncertain. This perfume brings certainty to the table, and certainty is what I'm lacking right now in this month, so this one really helps me ground myself. And there is quite a bit of text, and I'm going to read it to you, like a Chanel text from their website, and also the inspiration of Olivier Polge to create this one in connection to Coco Chanel's love story. Now, here's the thing though. Interesting how they noted that the Les Eaux Paris-edimbourg was not conceived alone by Olivier Polge, but together with Olivier Polge and, what do they call it? Like the team of fragrance something something by Chanel. So it says that they call it Olivier Polge in cooperation with the Chanel Laboratory of Fragrance Creation and Development. Mm. And Les Eaux de Chanel were designed as light and refreshing eau fraîche. They were supposed to be eau de colognes, but then they started selling them as eau de toilettes to charge more, in my humble opinion, allegedly. So he says, I drew inspiration from the destinations that have strong ties with Chanel. Each one has left its mark on a fragrance. Olivier Polge, more than destinations, Les Eaux de Chanel are countless invitations to escape for no reason, here and now. And that escapism is exactly what I'm craving this month. You see how everything is connected, and this is why I'm craving this perfume this month. I want to escape from reality, that we're living in currently. I mean, can you blame me? And Les Eaux de Chanel are countless invitations to escape for no reason, here and now. Airy, ungendered. See, they're unisex, ungendered, and imbued with lightness. They transport us to a fantasy elsewhere, by the sea or in the countryside. Each motionless journey is above all an intimate experience at the heart of our own emotions. While all Les Eaux de Chanel fragrances are composed as light and refreshing or fresh, each one is different as much by the balance of its citrus from Sicily and Calabria in Italy as by the choice of distinctive ingredients. This obvious and refreshing pleasure with no ulterior motive is found in a generous and elegant application that pays homage to the nobleness of simple things. And I love that it has no ulterior motive, except Chanel has the motive of wanting to earn our money, but but no ulterior motive to the smell. Oh, that's also very refreshing. You know, we're looking at the world and every politician is crooked and criminal and everybody has ulterior motives. No, this is a nice little escapism to a place and time where there are no ulterior motives. Everything is very innocent and pure. Paris-Edinbourg, the power and mystery of the highlands, firmly rooted to the land, from passion to inspiration. The year is 1924, they say. Gabrielle Chanel discovered Scotland through the Duke of Westminster, with whom she had a love affair until 1930. Far from the society life, she sought refuge in this wild and majestic countryside, bathed in an intensely white light, revitalized by the endless expanses of green. She went salmon fishing, played cards with Winston Churchill and Vera Bate, and shared her time between the Duke's three properties in the Highlands: Stack Lodge, a rustic country house; Lochmore, a Victorian manor; and last but not least, the Rose Hall estate. She was given carte blanche to decorate. The clothing worn by the British aristocracy during their outdoor leisure pursuits became sources of inspiration. Fair Isle sweaters with multicolored geometric patterns, tartan, wool berets, and tweed jackets were all practical garments that satisfied her taste for elegance and comfort. She reinterpreted them endlessly in her creations to the extent that they have become emblems of the Chanel style. Both fresh and woody, Paris-Edinbourg could be the fragrance of a tweed jacket borrowed from the men's wardrobe that was such an inspiration to Gabrielle Chanel. It's a woody aromatic scent as comfortable as a tweed jacket. And then it goes on to say, immersed in the grand and mysterious Scottish countryside, Olivier Polge was struck by two characteristic odors: the gripping and icy juniper berry and the peaty wood. This changing light and the tension between incisive freshness and warm shadows spurred the idea of an eau with the power of aromatic plants in the tradition of British men's colognes. He highlighted the lively and distinctive notes of juniper berry and cypress, added a hint of lavender, then chose cedar for its enveloping comfort and vetiver for its peaty and slightly smoky accents. Lastly, since the harshness of the land influences the way of life, he warmed the scent with notes of vanilla and musk. And so, Paris-Edinbourg, the earthiest, most androgynous, and woodiest of Les Eaux de Chanel, became a reality. Behind its apparent coolness, it unfurls warm and soothing tones that transport us with a single spray. Distinctly refined, it could be the fragrance of a tweed jacket borrowed from the men's wardrobe that was such an inspiration to Gabrielle Chanel, explains Olivier Polge. Like the scent after a stroll through the countryside, it is steeped in the odors of the wild landscapes. Now, Paris-Edinbourg shares the same clean, rounded bottle as the other Les Eaux de Chanel fragrances, topped with a black thermoset cap engraved with a double C, with a shape that recalls the flasks of alcohol people used to carry in their waistcoat when traveling. It takes on even greater meaning. The crystal clear glass reveals a fragrance as green as the Scottish countryside. This quest for simplicity and minimalism is extended to the corrugated cardboard case, equally beautiful inside and outside, flawless down to the smallest detail. What a beautiful description. And I gotta say, this is not the first time, by the way, when the Les Eaux de Chanel fragrances were launched. This is not the first time that this bottle design was conceived. This bottle design existed within Chanel fragrances already back in the 30s. The cap was slightly different, though, but that little flask shape, which is so elegant and beautiful, already existed before. I just wish Chanel would reshape these to from 125 mil to 100 mil so that we can fly with them and travel with them. They have released 50 mil sizes as well, but it's the bigger bottles that look much better. This perfume shines in the bigger bottles. It just works better. Although the little 50 mLs are cute as well, but it's the 125 mLs where it looks the best. If I find a shopping link to this one, I'll post it here. Now, in this video, I'll post it. Number 5, last but not least, thumb up the video and let's get to our number 5. Jersey. I mean, come on. Why? Because Chanel's jersey, her woven textiles, keeping you warm in winter. This is my warm embrace. This is the perfume I wear every night before I go to bed this month. This is my cradle. This is my joy. This is my sense of security. This is my warm embrace. After an anxious day, living the life of 2025 in February, this is the perfume that lulls me to sleep and makes me feel safe. And I have all the iterations of jersey. Sorry, this is the wrong one. I have the eau de parfum, the eau de toilette. And technically, oh man, it's hard to see with the green screen. But on the back of the sticker, they always state the, there you have it. Very faint, but you can see the de toilette. O is a little bit higher up, but since liquid is missing, because I'm using it up, obviously. So this is an eau de toilette, batch code 0101. So I got this one in 2016. Still smells divine, by the way, you know. I know they say perfumes don't last only 5 years tops. I say it lasts as long as it smells good to you. At least that's how I deal with it. But you do you. Jersey in the 75 mil. I also have it in the 200 mil. This is the eau de toilette. And then I have the extrait, which is no longer in production. And then the currently limited edition 35 milliliter jersey bottlettes. This one is an eau de parfum, available in that coffret of 5 that you choose which 5 les exclusives you want to purchase. Oh my God, this one is divine. You can see how much smaller it is compared to the 75 ml bottle. And then I have here an almost empty Comate, 200 ml. So you get to see kind of the difference in size between them. And interesting how these were released just this year in January. So the beginning of the year marked the launch, the first ever time in history of Chanel that they have launched a 35 ml bottle of their Les Exclusives, super rare. You can't even order these online. They were like just as exclusive for their fashion boutiques and some beauty boutiques. They do come with the same magnetic twist turn lock, cap, just like the 75 mil. It's the same size as well. But so here's the thing. Why Jersey? Because the lavender in Jersey is like no other lavender I've ever smelled in another perfume. And especially if you can get your hands on the extrait, because that has a real oil consistency. It's so majestic, pure, elevated, warm. And Jersey represents Coco's jersey fabric, which when back in the 1919 era, gosh, so hard to say, it was usually made of cashmere and wool. You know, jersey nowadays can be made of cotton. It can be also synthetic. It can have a smidge of wool. But jersey was used as a fabric for undergarments. Coco kind of elevated that material to overgarments, you know, dresses, pants, sweaters, cardigans, even shirts. And so jersey became this leisure wear, like sports leisure wear for the upper class that could afford it, but it was comfortable, most importantly, comfortable. That concept of her freeing women from the corset, part of that revolution was implementing the jersey fabric for luxury outfits. Now, if you ever see film adaptations or television adaptations of Agatha Christie novels from the 20s with Hercule Poirot or Miss Marple, usually with David Suchet or Suchet, depending how you want to pronounce his surname, one of the best Poirots ever, you're going to see a lot of female garments. If they're not in silk, they will be, or crêpe de chine, they will be made out of jersey, this type of jersey. So when we smell this, we go back to the past, but we also smell comfort within luxury. This is a beautiful perfume that transforms lavender into and this, we went on a journey in this video. We started off with a platinum egoiste that has a representation within its core of a metallic cold lavender. And now through this cathartic process, we arrive at the end of this journey with a warm lavender fragrance. And we have transformed this lavender through the patchouli in the mid-journey when we touched base on Coco Mademoiselle and on superleggera, Allure, homme sport. And then we kind of come transformed at the end of this tunnel. That where that sun is, that's where Jersey lies. It's right over there. It's right over there. This is where we find Jersey. Like when we fall asleep, we enter another realm of safetiness. Yes, sometimes we have nightmares, but most of the times the dreams we have are good, because dreams are the only place left where we can escape to evade this treacherous reality we're living in right now. So I do believe that Jersey is my comfort soul, my soul food that comforts me, especially at night. It just helps me relax, calm down, just my energy just like goes like, oh, okay, chill. It's been a stressful day. This one really helps me relax. It's almost like a spa, like a personal spa. So beautiful, worth every penny. I know that the price increase just happened. Depending when you're watching this video in some countries, if you're watching this video early on, the price increase might not have already happened in your country. But in the US, the price increase already happened. So the price is painful to bear at this point. But if you are lucky enough to get your hands on the coffret sets, the sets did not go up in price, although they were already super expensive. The set of 5 is $830 plus tax. I know, it's a sin. In Europe, it should be €650. But I'm not sure if in Europe the price is going to go up. They haven't had a price increase yet as of the date I'm filming this video. So these are my top 5 perfumes. If I do find a shopping link to this one, I'll post it as well. Although the Les Exclusives are super hard to find, unless you're not ordering them directly from Chanel, which is where they're exclusively available, obviously. That's why they're called the Les Exclusives. But anyway, let me know your top 5 Chanel perfumes for the month of February down below. I would love to hear your thoughts, and let me know what you think about my selection and this little landscape, dreamy landscape. Slightly scary, but then hopeful as well. Love you loads. Subscribe, thumb up this video, and until next time, never forget to never give up on fragrant love. Bye.